I'm Ansert, A-N-S-E-R-T, and was in the Army. And after the Korean War, 1954 to 1957. And I was born and raised in Brewster, and probably know your kids went to school with your kids, your grandparents, and
well, my name is Mel Sears. I was with the 24th Infantry in Carrillo.
My name is Tom Parton. I was with the United States Air Force during the Vietnam conflict.
My name is Dave Settle, and I was in the Navy.
what years? What years?
I don't know the exact year, it was in the 40s.
So, when did you guys decide to join the military?
Well, I always wanted to go in the service when I was a kid growing up. I was growing up during World War II, and I suppose all the guys that were in there and the heroes and all that, and I was a young kid. So I wanted to go in the Army, I guess, and then I traveled around. I stayed in the United States most of the time, all the time, and was in a helicopter outfit and maintenance, and we drove around. We went around the country to different war games, as you'd call them now, and supported them. And then when I got in 1958, then I came back to Brewster and spent my life here. When did you decide to?
Join the Army
Yeah.
as soon as I was old enough.
You what?
Hmm?
What'd you say?
I said as soon as I was old enough, I joined the Army.
Well, so I was a senior in high school, and I worked at a service station in town, across from the post office, and all the different branches of the military had their offices in the post office across the street from me. And then I came over and found me during my senior year in high school. And the Air Force guy did the best job, I guess, so I decided I had to go to the Air Force.
Well, after I'd used all my deferments, and they said, no more, I decided that it was time to go. I didn't have any other choice. That's about it.
Okay. So the next question is, how did you decide which branch of the military to go?
I just liked the Army
Just like you
rather than the Navy. I'm afraid of the water and deep water sharks and so on. And I like to be on the ground, obviously.
Well, I've always wanted to be in the Army, and that's where I went. And I wanted to be in the infantry, so I got some ground pounding to do. A whole lot of it.
Well, I wasn't real keen on Vietnam, the war we were having there. And I figured if I got there, went in the Army, or got drafted, I'd go there, so I went in the Air Force. Took my chances.
When I was called into the service, and they had boot camp, hundreds of guys standing around getting ready to do the same thing I was, and they said, you're in the Army. I said, I got a business I got to close up. Go over and talk to the captain that's over there. I went over and talked to him, and he says, no problem. He said, you're in the Navy. And that's how I got in the Navy.
Okay. So next question is, what were your parents' response when you guys decided to join? Like, what did they say? What was it?
They just left it up to me. It was my choice. And so was no problem there. Or were they?
Well, I was already in it before they knew it.
Oh, that's a good one.
I was convinced my dad, he wasn't gonna let me go. Cause I was, underage. And he had to sign me up, sign me in to go in.
I had a brother that had made a career out of the Navy, and he was already in there, and they wasn't too excited over it. It was just a case of you have to go, and that's what it was, and it turned out pretty good. I got back home.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted.
So next one is, what were your thoughts as soon as you got to your station?
I wanted to go home. The first day I went in. The greeting they give you and
Oh, yeah.
boot camp.
Yeah, I agree with something else.
Oh, none really. Because I was in combat within about 4 days, so I got what I was looking for.
Do I deserve it? Did I sign up to do this? You know, get yelled at every day.
Exactly.
Well, I had heard before I got into the service that there they try to trick you, and they want to know how many people, if you can drive a truck on a list, and then you find out that they give you a wheelbar. And so that was the thing I was thinking about, is, I mean, don't tell anything that you can handle a wheelbar, a truck, and have to go out and push a wheelbar. I wasn't interested in that.
Wheelbarrow, yeah.
So the next one is, what was the most fun or funniest memory you can have of the Army or Air Force, maybe?
I think the friends and getting to see the country, which I would have never seen. I got to go all over, and that was the top plus for it.
I spent 28 and a half months in the jungle, and the most exciting thing I got was when they said you can go home.
Why did you choose to serve in the military? Like, why? What persuaded you?
I think I said that it was just the thing to do then, because I mean, it was unusual for a kid not to wait and get drafted. It was so soon after the wars, and then the Korean thing was still going on, and we just kind of, I don't know, brainwashed maybe or something, but we just kind of thought the thing to do in my case.
Well, my senior year in high school was the last year of the draft for Vietnam, and I didn't want to get drafted. I knew if I did that, I'd be right in the jungle and over there. So I joined. I picked my own and took my chances.
So how did your service change you as either a person, as physically, or as a character?
I don't know how much I've retained, but that's 3 years very informative and years that your personality has changed in your outlook, your upbringing, a whole combination of things.
Yeah, well,
If I was living here, I'd go do it again.
More or less a natural order of most boys, or a lot of boys.
It really didn't change a lot. I'd been in a small business and just young and starting out. I went back to the same thing. Glad to do it. Glad that I got out. I didn't encourage anybody else to go back in there either.
I have friends from all over the United States. I mean, a lot of different people, and you pick up some of their habits and their way of thinking, and you got your way of thinking on here, and that's what changes you.
Okay. So one last question. What do you guys like admire about the United States? What do you think is worth fighting? What do you think is worth fighting?
Well, just our natural heritage of founding fathers, and it's so far it's about as far as governments, and this is the best system. Without people are all the elections, and you have your choice. One dictator or one powerful guy can't come in and take it over like and we're all. But I think it combines us, brings us all together in our own different ways, and
Our freedom.
and it's freedom. That's exactly right.
We can do a lot of things in the United States here that a lot of people in their country can't do. And it's like, like badmouth our president,
Sure.
And in a lot of countries you can't do that, or you'll hang from the highest tree, the nearest tree.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Any reason why? Could you tell them why a little bit? Why you admire it?
Well, of course I admire it. It's our country.
Well, the country as itself, as a unit, the people were good about pulling together. And it proved that America would do its job when they thought it was necessary.
There you go.
And even if it wasn't, they was there plugging along. And it wasn't something I encouraged people to do. My brother stayed in the service 30 years, and that's where he belonged, because he couldn't leave the women alone.